Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning. Today I am talking Major League Baseball. One of the most exciting trade deadline periods that I've ever seen this year, possibly the most exciting ever. So many good moves. The Cubs have basically emptied their whole roster. The Nationals lost a lot. The Rays pick up Nelson Cruz. But today I am here to talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers acquiring Trea Turner from the Washington Nationals, shortstop of course, and Max Scherzer from the Washington Nationals, pitcher. So that's what's on the table today, kind of getting my reaction from that. But before we get into that, question of the day, and that is, who do you guys think, now pending this trade that is now official, who is going to win in the NL West this year? Right now, the Giants lead the division. The Dodgers are 3.5 games back, and the Padres are 5.5 games back. So between those three teams, really, the Rockies and the Diamondbacks are out of the question. But between those three teams, who do you guys think takes the division? Comment below, and you'll hear my answer at the end of the video. But let's get right into it. When I saw, okay, so take us back. The trade was proposed Friday, or sorry, it was finalized Friday afternoon, and Thursday is when I first heard about it. And honestly, the reason I haven't made a video until now is because I wanted to make sure it was actually going to happen. Because go back 24 hours before that, it was Scherzer to the Padres is what I heard, and I was excited for that because I like the Padres, and I think they've done a lot of good for the city of San Diego. I mean, they've gotten a lot better in the last couple of years. I like Tatis, I like Machado when he's not being a trashy baseball player, which he is sometimes, but that's besides the point. I was looking for Scherzer to the Padres. That was the initial thing. And then all of a sudden I look, ESPN alert, and it says Scherzer and Dodgers and Trea Turner are working on a deal right now, and it really did. It blew my mind. I did not see that coming at all. And it really creates a super team, a Diamond Dynasty team, if you will, in LA. And it's really that's not something that is common to the sport of baseball, a team that you expect to be so good that they're just going to run the table. We know baseball is a sport that anybody can win on any given day if they play the game the right way. It's not, I mean, I love the game of football, but it tends to be the more talented team is going to win the vast majority of the time in basketball and football. But in baseball, of course, the more talented team does have an advantage, but it's not always that team that wins. So I didn't really consider the fact that as good as the Dodgers were and as how many talented players they had on that team, I still knew they could be beat. And now you add these two guys to the team, one of the best, getting older in Max Scherzer, but still one of the best starting pitchers in the game, and then Trea Turner, a top 3 shortstop and still very young, his whole career ahead of him. You add them to the roster. So what does this Dodgers team become except for an absolute powerhouse? And I mean, it just, coming into the season, the Dodgers were an absolute powerhouse after they picked up Bauer, because Bauer is one of the best starters in the game at the moment. But now Bauer's currently not eligible to play, and now you add another starter just as good, and you add a shortstop that's just as good as your current, that's going to replace him in the future. Which brings me to my first point of why this is so huge for the Dodgers is after the season, Corey Seager is going to be out of there. No telling where he might go, but Corey Seager is not going to be a Dodger after this year. They just simply don't have the money. I mean, yes, the Dodgers have a payroll of like $250 million, the highest in MLB history, but they're not going to be able to afford Seager back. And obviously, by getting Trea Turner, they're not going to re-sign Seager. Seager knows this is his last season there, and I've been waiting to figure out what the Dodgers are going to do because I knew Seager was. I mean, you give all this money to Bauer, you're paying a lot of money to Bellinger, you're paying a lot of money to Kershaw, you're paying a lot of money to Mookie Betts. When it was going to come time to restructure a new deal with Corey Seager, I knew it was going to be a matter of time before it was announced that he's going to be out of there. And evidently, that's what's going to happen now with Trea Turner. Now, ironically, yes, you're losing a top 3 shortstop in baseball and replacing him with another top 3 shortstop in baseball. They're roughly the same age. They're both young guys. I think Corey Seager is probably a few years older than Trea Turner. Has probably a year or two more in the league, but they're both young guys. So Seager will move on somewhere else and have himself a great career. But Turner is the new guy in LA at shortstop, or at least will be after this season. And it's interesting to see what's going to happen in the meantime now with with 2 top 3 shortstops on the same roster. But we'll have to see there. But and that's just, again, I can't stress this enough how surprised I was when I saw this, because in my mind, it was Scherzer to the Padres. That's the last I heard before I heard this. And the poor Nationals, man, you lose Schwarber, you lose John Lester, which I guess isn't a huge deal, but Schwarber was having a good season, and you lose your franchise shortstop. So now it's back to Juan Soto to hold that team down. So again, that's part one of this was, wow, Trea Turner going to be able to replace Corey Seager, and the Dodgers are not going to skip a beat because they're not losing any talent at shortstop. Trea Turner is a guy that's hitting 322 this year with 18 homers, and he's hitting 300 on the career. He's got himself a 2019 World Series ring. The future for him is so bright, and the Dodgers got a great shortstop in Trea Turner. I'm a big fan of that. And by no means, I'm not a Dodgers fan, and I'm not rooting for them to be great, but it's hard to argue the logic of looking at how many guys that are top of the game around the Dodgers. I mean, behind the plate, Will Smith, one of the best catchers in the game. First base, Max Muncy. I don't like Max Muncy, but he's very talented. Second base, Gavin Lux, Chris Taylor, whoever it is, good players. Shortstop, going to be Trea Turner, Justin Turner. At third, one of the best postseason hitting guys in Dodgers history. You got Mookie in outfield. You got Cody Bellinger in the outfield. You got, well, who plays left? AJ Pollock, if he's still there. I'm not sure who plays left field for LA. But the Dodgers are stacked all around. And then the pitching staff with Buehler and Kershaw and maybe Trevor Bauer and now Scherzer and Dustin May and Julio Urias. It's insane that this Dodgers team does not have a weak spot, and they just got stronger. Now, Scherzer, again, we know how good of a player Scherzer is. He's an animal. He's just going to go out there and grind out 6-7 innings a start. That's just what he does. This year, I don't know what his stats are. I know he's not having a bad year. Right now, let's see, ERA-wise, 2.76 on the season and 3.1 on his career. So he's obviously a great pitcher. He's an 8-time All-Star. He's a 3-time Cy Young. He is a dog on the mound. He just plays the game the right way, and you can't make a mistake signing that guy. So huge win signing Scherzer. Definitely makes up for the fact that Bauer's not currently pitching, and then Trea Turner, like I said, one of the best shortstops in baseball. And I'm honestly surprised that a guy like Scherzer, I don't know why this surprises me, that he would join a team like in LA. I always saw Scherzer as a guy, he started in Detroit, and then he made his way to Washington. I saw him as a guy that wanted to join the underdog and fight to help that team win, like he did with Washington. Nobody expected them to win the World Series, but now he's joining the dark side in LA, and I can't blame him. He wants another ring before he retires, and it's pretty high odds that that's going to happen for him. So all in all, this trade really surprised me, and it really upended the baseball world, and it just took me by surprise, which, again, this took the baseball world by storm. Within the same 24 hours that Rizzo was traded to the Yankees, Chris Bryant was traded to the Giants, and Javi Baez went to the Mets. So all these big things happening, but this trade between the Dodgers and the Nationals, sending Scherzer and Trea Turner to LA, really overshadowed anything else that happened. So this was the trade of this trade deadline season. So that's all for the video. Back to the question of the day: who's going to take the NL West? I think the Dodgers are going to take it. If I had to pick who I'd want to win it, I think I want the Padres. I think the Giants are going to eventually get caught. Like I said, the Dodgers are only 3 games back. We still have I don't know how many games. We got a month or two, or 2 months left of regular season baseball for them to catch them, and I think that they'll be able to do it. So my money's on the Dodgers going to take the NL West. And if I had to pick a World Series favorite, that's who I got to go with. I think the Rays have a great team out of the AL, but I think the Dodgers are going to go back-to-back. So that's all for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. 2-minute warning.